Hey YouTubers, today we have a Samsung oven that is no longer heating, so we're going to be replacing the igniter. So we're going to pull out these racks and they just slide right out. You kind of pull them towards you and then lift up a little bit at the end. We'll take off the door too. We're going to use a flathead screwdriver to pry these release pieces toward us as far as we can go, all the way in toward the door. There's one on each side. And you want to get them, sometimes hard to get them moving in the beginning, but get them to move all the way down. Then just close the door. I'm going to stand up so I don't hurt my back because the door is kind of heavy. I'll pull the door now out away from the oven, set it off to the side. You don't have to do this, but it just makes it a little bit easier to get to the igniter. So there's two screws here. We spin them out. I'm going to lift up this bottom panel. And then there's a piece underneath that called the heat deflector. We're going to take out the screws that are holding the heat deflector. Two in the front, lift it up, pull it out. And underneath, there's a burner tube with an igniter. So here's the box with the igniter. I'll put a link in the description below for you guys. These are pretty inexpensive. These universal igniters work on pretty much any gas oven, and these fit really good for this oven. So here's the burner tube. Here's where it goes on the burner tube, but you have to get the burner tube out. There's two screws holding it in, one in the back and one near the front. So once you get the screws out, you can lift out the burner tube, and then there's two Phillips head screws holding on the old igniter. This one had already been taken off. So we're going to get those screws out. There's a little nut underneath each screw. So we'll get the old igniter off. We're going to put the new one in position, and then we'll put those Phillips head screws back in, and we'll put the little nut underneath, and we'll tighten that up. So when your bake igniter doesn't work, it's probably about 90% of the time it's due to the igniter being worn out. About 10% of the time it could be the thing that sends power to the igniter, which is the controller. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So I'm going to grab the back end nut, a pair of pliers, and I'll tighten up that Phillips head screw for the two screws. I want to get it on there pretty securely. And the thing we're hooking it onto again is called the burner tube. That's where the gas flows through, and then the igniter ignites that gas, and then that flame heats up your food in the oven. So now I'm going to hook up the wires from the oven to the wires of the igniter, and I'm going to put on these little porcelain heat-proof wire nuts. I'm going to screw them on as tight as possible. Make sure you have the oven unplugged at this point, or turn off the breaker for the oven, because there will be a little bit of electricity going through at least one of these wires. So we did that for both of the wires coming from the oven. And remember, either wire from the oven can go to either wire on the igniter. I'm going to push this burner tube now down onto a little gas jet there at the bottom. Make sure it's securely on that jet so the gas can flow right into the tube. And I'm going to push these extra wires down into the cavity because we don't want these to heat up during the bake cycle. We want to protect them, so we're going to push them down into that cavity, get them out of the way. And again, this is a very common thing that happens to many ovens over time. The igniters probably go for about 3 or 4 years, and then they just get worn out and they will no longer light up the gas. So we're going to put that screw in to hold the burner tube in the back. I'll feed it onto the Phillips head screwdriver, and then I'll zip it in there to hold it in. There we go. And then we'll put one also here in the front to hold the front down. And after you do this, if you test it and you don't see it glowing, that would mean that probably the controller is not sending power. I'm just going to test it here real quick. I'm going to ask for bake 350 degrees, and I'll press the start button. And I'm also going to press it in on this door switch here over to the upper right hand side to make the computer think that the door is shut, because on some models it won't light the igniter unless the door's shut. On this test though, I did not get a glow, so I'm going to just make sure that the broiler works. So I'm going to ask for broil. I'm going to do the same thing, press the button, and I should see a glow here. I can see it starting to glow at the top, which is good. That means it's getting power. And that means that most parts of the system are working, because the broil system is working. And I can hear the gas flowing in, and then eventually I'm able to see a flame. So I know that the oven's getting gas, I know it has power, and I know that most of the systems are working. So I'll shut off the broil. And now I'm testing, I pulled the burner tube back out. I'm going to put my multi-tester meter down into the wire for the igniter, and the other one I'll touch it to the metal here to ground. And it shows I have 122 volts going through, so that's good. I'll do the same thing on the other wire for the igniter. I'm just pushing the probe down into that wire and then touching it to ground. Once again, I get 122 volts, so I know that that cycle does have power, but it's not being, the circuit is not being allowed to connect, and that's due to the relay that lives up in the controller is stuck in the open position. So I have to replace the controller. They're not that bad. They're maybe $170 and $230. And go ahead and order that up, and I'll replace that. I'm going to go ahead and put the burner tube back in with the new igniter, because we know that it's a brand new igniter, and that'll work really good once we get the new controller. So for you though, probably replacing this igniter will do the trick, because again, 90% of the time, that is the cause of an oven that won't bake. And if you notice that when you test bake, it doesn't work, and broil also doesn't work, it could be a piece called the high limit, which is kind of like a fuse. So if the oven gets too hot, it'll shut that off, and that cuts off the power to both of the igniters. I'm putting this heat deflector back in, and then I'll add a couple of screws to hold it in the front. There we go. That nice and tight. And then we're going to add the bottom plate. We put the little tabs in the front first, set it down in the back, and we add the two screws that go into the back. And those are just Phillips head screws also. Replacing the broiler igniter up above is very similar to what we're doing here. Let's get those tight. And now we're just going to slide the racks back in. So it just goes in, and we set them down, and then we'll put the door back on. So I'm going to push in those hinge pieces at the bottom back into the oven cavity as far as they can go in, and then I'll bring the oven down 90 degrees, the oven door, and I'll push those latches shut toward the oven cavity, and then the door is going to close. Great. Watching our video, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance, and also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions.